I'm very excited to give this week's Torah portion, this little Devar Torah, because this week in Beha'aloscha we read about Aaron, the high priest, who's given the mitzvah, given the commandment to light the menorah. The menorah, it has 7 flames. There's 3 on each side, 1 in the middle, and he gets to light that. And I want to use that as a jumping point for our own capacity. Each one of us has a capacity to light up the world. And so here's Aaron. He goes into the temple and the Mishkan, and he lights the menorah. He's shedding light out into the world. And actually, in the Mishkan, the windows were shaped such that they were narrow on the inside and they opened up wide on the outside. So a small amount of light can dispel a lot of darkness. It goes from little to big. And each one of us has a soul inside of us. And it says in Proverbs that the candle of God, a candle of God, is the soul of man. Soul of man is the candle of God. That our soul, our neshama, that breath of God that connects us to the divine, is like a flame, and it flickers and it shines, and it's inside our bodies. Our bodies are the vessel for carrying this neshama, for carrying this soul, for carrying this flame. Each one of us has. So I want to teach you something I just learned from a Kabbalistic Musa text, of a Kabbalistic text that speaks about this word emet, truth. So emet is a Hebrew word that has 3 letters, has an aleph, has a mem, and it has a taf. Those are 3 Hebrew letters that spell the word emet. So an aleph is 1. It's the first letter in the Hebrew alphabet, and it represents God. Oneness of God. There's nothing but God. There's only Godness, the oneness of the universe. Everything emanates from this oneness of God. When we say Shema, we say Hashem Echad. Hashem is one. There's only oneness in the world. It looks like it's all divided. It's one. So the aleph is the oneness of God. And then we're left with 2 letters, a mem and a taf. And those 2 letters together spell a word, a Hebrew word, met, which is a body. A dead body is referred to as a mate. So living people are an aleph, which is the soul of God, and the mate, the body. Dead people are just the mate because they've lost their aleph, they've lost their soul. But we're alive, thank God. And our soul, this aleph, this flame connected to the divine, is constantly being shone into us. And we have it to bring out into the world. So when it says that our soul is like the candle of God, it means that we have the capacity, every single one of us uniquely has a little flame inside of us that can shine a lot of light out into the darkness. And how do we do that? We do that like the menorah, which has three flames on one side, 3 flames on the other, and the one in the middle represents the divine, represents Torah, represents Shabbat. It's what we're shining. We're all one, and we're all bringing this light out. So how do we do it? We do it by doing goodness, by being good, by running, like Aaron in the tabernacle ran every day to light the menorah. He was so enthusiastic and filled with fervor and excitement to light the menorah every single day, even though he did it every day. And you think it'll get a little bit rote by now, it'll get a little bit boring by now. Every single day he was filled with a freshness and a newness of the capacity to bring the light into the world. So too should we try to recognize the capacity that each one of us has to shine light into the world and be that divine, the divine into the world. We can do that. So I love this teaching of the aleph and the mace, that we have an aleph, we have a soul, and we have a body. And together we're bringing that into our actions and bringing it into our service and bringing that into the world, that we get to bring light into the world. And even a body with a soul, we're very, in Jewish teachings, we're very concerned about making sure that people live as long as they can, right? We don't prolong life, and we don't minimize life, like it's in the hands of God, but we don't rush the death process along, because the body and a soul is a unique combination. It will never happen again. There'll never be this combination of body and soul ever again. And the soul shines light onto the body. It cleanses the body. It has a very powerful effect on the body. And it's not up to us to end that combination, that tethering together. It's up to, that's God, and that the key to death is in the hands of God, right? It's not up to us to decide when people die. We're not allowed to kill ourselves. We have to try to prolong life, and we are about living and about that soul and how it is in the body for as long as it can be there to shine its light, and for it to continue to put light out into the world, like in the tabernacle where it was narrow and then it was wide. So too we have that capacity to shine our light. And when Aaron went in, like if you look at a flame, when you put fire to a wick, it transfers, but it doesn't lose its own power. We're illuminating something else. We're shining something else. And so too, we can do that. We can empower each other. We can inspire each other by who we are and how we make space for other people, how we encourage other people, how we teach other people, how we live our lives to inspire others. That's like transferring a flame. That's like giving the light out and letting that continue to ripple out into the world. So I love this teaching about Aaron being the one to light the menorah and saying, you, Aaron, can light this menorah, but so too can every single person who is a soul and body combination. And we are alive. We can give, we can do, we can receive. Sometimes the soul and the body combination are receptacles for other people's kindnesses, other people's goodness, and not to minimize that these are all conduits by which there's light being shed into the world. So I love this teaching. The Aleph and the mate together create emes, as truth. And when we do kindness, when we run to do something good, when we run to do a mitzvah, when we run to light the Shabbos candles, let's say on Friday night, we're all rushing to get ready, that we're doing it with the enthusiasm, with the fervor, with the passion that comes from this flame. So I'm going to tell an amazing story I heard that was posted on Chabad website, and it had to do with a Chabad rabbi who went to Alaska. He's looking for Jews in Alaska. You know, Chabad is everywhere, and he goes to the town hall and he says, are there any Jews here? And they say, no, there are no Jews here. So he says, can I just go to the school? Maybe I could find a Jew in the school. So he goes to the local school and there's assembly, and he says to the children, is anybody here Jewish? And nobody answers. And he says, does anyone here know anyone who is Jewish? And this little girl raises her hand and she says, my mother's Jewish. So this rabbi now, obviously, this little girl's Jewish because her mother's Jewish, and he doesn't know what to say to her. And he says, little girl, you know what? That lighting Shabbat candles is a way to bring peace and light into the world. And Alaska is the most western point in the world. And if you light Shabbos candles every week, the whole world, I'll quote it, the whole world is waiting for your Shabbos candles. Your candles are the last candles in the whole world to get lit. And this little girl walks away and she feels so excited that she has something that nobody else can do. She's in the most western part of the world, and she's going to be the last person to light Shabbos candles. And what a sense of responsibility, or a sense of like, wow, I get to do this. I get to light the last Shabbos candles in the world. And so too, we should think about that when we do this, when we do anything that is about shedding light, that is about bringing our soul, bringing God along with us, bringing that light into the world. That's only us uniquely, our body and soul combination. Each one of us is a unique combination that will never, ever, ever happen again. And so when something comes our way to do, we should run to do it because it's our opportunity to shed light. That's why we're here. We're here to shed that light. And whatever it is, it can be a small thing, like smiling at somebody, or opening a door for someone, or inviting someone to your home for a cup of tea, or making a phone call to somebody who's lonely. There's so many opportunities we have to bring out our soul to bring out our love and connection to others and bring God out through our souls. So I give us a blessing that we should all recognize the power that we each all have to bring more light into the darkness, and that we run and that we're happy and enlivened and grateful for these opportunities.